That's true, actually. That heavily reduced most favored nations cost. Americans can expect discounts, and as I said, it could be in many cases way over 100%. And as an example, one particular drug that's hot, very hot, 654% on inhalers, COPD and asthma, as well as certain diabetics medications. They're going to be averaging about 654% reduction in price. You believe that one? The Democrats will say, well, he should have gotten more. It's crazy. In addition, all Medicare.
So that was Donald Trump at the White House announcing some mathematically impossible reductions in drug prices. And it was so bad, I don't know if you caught it here, and we're going to show you some more clips. But as he was speaking this mathematically impossible nonsense, the CEO of AstraZeneca, who was standing behind his right shoulder, looks at him, looks down, and frowns because he's obviously not going to correct Trump, but he knows, like, holy shit, this is impossible. So once again, Donald Trump is embarrassing himself with lies and nonsense in a cognitive impairment episode on live TV. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, folks, I've said it before. I've said it again. Hopefully I don't have to tell you this. It is impossible. It is mathematically impossible to have a reduction in the price of anything beyond 100%. When you get to 100%, the thing you are reducing is now free by definition. So for 650% off, you would effectively be paying your customer or your consumer the difference, the balance, to take the thing that you're now giving away for free. You would be paying them. They wouldn't be paying you. You wouldn't even be giving it away for free. You would be paying them to take it, which is not feasible. And yet he doubles down. Take a look.
A big part of the company. Presidents have promised for years to lower the cost of health care. But my administration is actually the first to do it, and do it substantially, do it at numbers that nobody thought, even I thought, were not possible. When you think of it, if you got a 1%, 2%, 5%, that's good. You did a good job. We're talking about 100, 200, 300, 500, 700, in some cases, some big, big numbers.
So again, the CEO, I mean, you have Dr. Oz there. You know, the last time Oz kind of humiliated Trump, Oz and RFK Jr., we did a video about this a couple of weeks ago. Oz has since learned, just nod politely and keep staring ahead, you know, take in the bullshit. The CEO of AstraZeneca, on the other hand, he's still struggling with this, right? I'm sure he's a smart guy. He knows he's got to, you know, at least not humiliate Trump in any way, but he's not quite so fluid in, you know, digesting and not giving the game away with respect to Trump's ridiculous numbers. So he's having to look away, look at like, don't give any sort of public acknowledgement. Don't show your face on camera contradicting Trump.
Largest drug companies in the world are working with us to make this a reality. And so I look forward to being at your opening of that incredible facility. I hear.
All right. So I love seeing this stuff in real time. It's so funny. Okay. We got some more clips of him doubling down on this mathematically impossible stuff. And then he answers questions from reporters.
And we actually did, and I was so proud of myself. We called a news conference. I announced it. It was 1/8 of 1%. 1/8 of 1%. Now drug prices are going to be going down 100%, 400%, 600%, 1,000% in some cases. But for 1/8 of a cent.
You see the twitching of his face? Do you see this guy in real? He's like, that's not possible.
Bobby, think of that. I was so proud because for 28 years, nobody had done it. And now it's, I think back to that, I said I shouldn't have had that news conference. But it's just true. I was the only one that did it, but it was not very much. And now we're going to get, in some cases, 1,000% reduction. This is going to have a huge impact on everything from Social Security to Medicare to Medicaid, anything where they're buying any prescription drugs. It's going to have an incredible impact.
It's so funny that you see the mouth twitching on that. It's just so funny watching the contrast while Trump rambles on incoherently with mathematically impossible figures. Dr. Oz has since learned the lesson, and then you have the AstraZeneca guy who humiliates him at a different point, by the way. He contradicts Trump in real time. But let's play some other clips here. Let's hear from Dr. Oz, former Oprah sidekick. And by the way, I got to say, with all due respect to Oprah Winfrey, her batting average with respect to producing good contributions to television because she was responsible for Dr. Phil's career and then Dr. Oz. Oprah, you should have been flying solo the entire time because holy shit.
It creates an opportunity for us because, Mr. President, you're turning the art of the deal into the art of the heel.
Oh, it's a real zinger there. It's why he's. You know what? I wish he would just go back to TV. Like Dr. Oz, if you don't mind, if you could just like go back, I would appreciate it. But here's Trump. Again, kind of wrapping up with another ridiculous number.
So we have, at this moment, I think we just cracked $18 trillion in commitments and investments in our country. As an example, the last administration was far less than $1 trillion for 4 years. We're at plus $18 trillion for 8 months. There's never been anything like it in history, in any country, anywhere in the world. So,
okay, $18 trillion, that would be half of America's GDP. We had about $36 trillion per year in terms of GDP. So, just total nonsense. No substantiation of those claims whatsoever. The best that fact checkers can find is evidence of about $6 trillion worth of promises for investment. Not actual investment, promises, commitments. Like, yeah, sure. We'll spend $6 trillion. It's not actual investment. It has yet to come to fruition, but Trump is trying to take a victory lap for it. We'll see what happens. Again, because the problem is, like, Trump would get, he would get assurances for investment during his first term, like Foxconn. There'd be a Foxconn facility. We're going to break ground on it. And it never came to fruition, right? Like, Trump would take these promises, these IOUs effectively, these commitments, these pinky promises, these, yeah, sure, we'll get there to it eventually, and then tried to spin it as tangible wins for the American people. And more often than not, it didn't manifest itself. And he's just doing the same thing here because it didn't really hurt him the last time. So many people, particularly from his cult, still spin this idea that, he was the ultimate business maker and the economy was booming on his watch all 4 years of his first administration. And then he basically single-handedly created, he inherited nothing good, they'll tell you, from Barack Obama. It was basically like the economic equivalent of the Big Bang. Trump he was inaugurated, snapped his fingers, and then the world's foremost superpower had a thriving economy single-handedly because of him, except in his fourth year, of course. And that was COVID. I mean, then that's not his fault. That's COVID's fault. Like he's basically God, but he can't, obviously COVID, he's no match for COVID. And so again, he's just running the same playbook, even more shamelessly, I would argue. The one difference, and I will say this, is he has been able to more successfully cow, bully, and intimidate the titans of industry and industry leaders into at least placating him verbally and rhetorically. And I'm not just talking about social media companies like Jeff Bezos at Amazon and not Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg at Meta, Jeff Bezos at Amazon on a different level, right? And also people like the CEO of AstraZeneca. He's able to take the CEO class and intimidate them in ways that he wasn't able to in his first term, perhaps because they realize the extent of his depravity and they know he's going for broke this time.
So,
I'm going to ask you about China, if I could. Just want to confirm, have you canceled your meeting with President Xi? And
no, I haven't canceled, but I don't know that we're going to have it. But I'm going to be there regardless, so I would assume we might have it. But, they hit the world with something that really is not anything that people are going to do. And it was shocking. I can tell you, Howard and I and Todd, Scott, we were all speaking about it before. And we said, where did that come from? It was that was out of the blue, right? Out of the blue, they came up with this whole import-export concept, and no.
So he's talking about, and we covered this briefly yesterday, Trump went on a series of unhinged rants against Xi Jinping of China yesterday, the guy that he says he understands. We're friends. We made a trade deal with China. They didn't make a trade deal with China. And he indicated that there was really no point in meeting Xi in 2 weeks. And that was on Truth Social. Then he's asked about it just, about an hour later in the Oval Office. So have you canceled your meeting? No, of course not. It's like, wait a minute, you're sending mixed signals here. Classic Trump. But as a consequence of Trump threatening 100% additional tariffs on China, the market cratered yesterday. So who knows where we'll be on Monday. Here's another clip.
Mr. President? Yeah, please. Russell Vogt said the reductions in force have begun related to this shutdown. How many layoffs have you authorized for this first round, and from which agencies?
And it will be Democrat-oriented because we figure, you know, they started this thing, so they should be Democrat-oriented. It'll be a lot, and we'll announce the numbers over the next couple of days, but it'll be a lot of people, all because of the Democrats. I mean, they want to give $1.5 trillion to people that came into the country illegally. More important than that, because we all have a big heart. We want people to be taken care of, but you know, we have 0 people coming in. You know that, Glenn, right? That's a pretty impressive number, even for a successful governor. But we've had for the last 4 months 0 people coming in illegally. They're coming in, but they're coming in legally. They're coming in through a process that's really a really good process right now, because we want people to come in, but they have to come in legally. So what we're doing is, as these different groups come due, we're going to make a determination. Do we want them or not? And I must tell you, a lot of them happen to be Democrat-oriented. These are people that the Democrats wanted that in many cases were not appropriate. We fought them at the time, and it was ultimately signed in. And some of these people, these are largely people that the Democrats want. Many of them will be fired. Yes.
So there you have it. He's once again doubling down on this idea that in order to lash out at Democrats, in order to try to bully and intimidate them, in order to punish them for not bending the knee to them, he's targeting programs and agencies that he believes disproportionately benefit the Democratic Party. Now, as is often the case, for example, with his attack on Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, Obamacare, ACA subsidies, Republicans in red states very often benefit from these things as much, if not more, than the blue states that he intends to target. So once again, just Trump's getting this ass backwards, and that's where he puts his cruelty ahead of his prudence, which is unfortunately quite often. There are other clips as well that we could play here, but I guess I'll close with this one here. And again, it's a short clip just for the irony of it. Again, Trump is talking about Portland, Oregon, which is experiencing protests, but not like mass riots or anything of that nature. Trump wants to send in the National Guard, and this is how he describes Portland.
That's almost an insurrection, that place. So we put our people in there.
He calls Portland an insurrection, as ironically, the only sitting president of the United States to ever foment an insurrection, which is what he did on January 6th. So there you have it, another embarrassing press conference by Donald Trump, in which, again, you just see in real time the AstraZeneca CEO he just visibly dies inside at Trump's mathematically impossible proclamations. But he has to sit there and effectively nod along or try not to give the game away because he's so afraid of what Trump might do. We very much have a Mad King scenario, to make a Game of Thrones reference. And we're going to have it for at least another 3 years. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.